The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome and good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Stephanie Ashman. I'm Senior Planner with the City of Westminster. I'm also the project planner for the Benson and Benson Planned Unit Development. Tonight, you are attending the neighborhood meeting on Wednesday, December 1st. And the City of Westminster will be facilitating this meeting this evening. This is definitely the developer's opportunity to speak with the community about their project, listen to any concerns that you might have, and also be able to answer any questions or concerns that you might have. Go ahead and move on to the next slide. I'm just going to go through a couple virtual engagement etiquette for tonight's meeting. Please keep your comments courteous and cordial. The most productive conversation starts with respect. Questions and comments will be read aloud to the audience along with the name of the person that's making the inquiry. And please keep your comments relevant to the application being considered this evening. If you have any other comments that do not pertain to the application we're discussing tonight, you can please email planning@cityofwestminster.us and you'll be put in contact with appropriate staff that's related to that project. For additional information regarding the city's social media commenting policy, please visit the city's webpage, and the link is posted here on this page. And please note that this meeting is being recorded this evening and will be posted on YouTube directly after the meeting is ended. Just to cover some agenda topics, we're going to go through some welcomes and introductions. City staff presentation will be about 6 to 8 minutes. Through this piece, I will just be giving general information about the project, where it is in the review cycle, things like that. Things that staff takes a look at when we review these projects. We'll go through an applicant presentation around 12 to 15 minutes, and then we'll do a Q&A. And then follow that with some next steps and contact information should you want to ask us anything more after the meeting. As far as the question and answer period goes, there's a question box on the right side of your screen. And it's the opportunity for you to be able to enter in any questions, comments, concerns that you might have regarding this application. Just remember to stay on topic, and please be mindful that your questions and comments will be read aloud to the entire audience along with your name, and that they will be posted on the status development webpage after the meeting. And if time allows, after chat questions or more comments are addressed, we'll open up the meeting for live speakers if we have some. And if you would like to state your question or comment orally, please type "I'd like to speak," and a staff member will let you know if and when you can speak. So tonight, we are covering the Benson and Benson planned unit development. Get you on the context here of where the site is. It's along Lowell Boulevard on the west side of Lowell, south of 69th Avenue. As you can see in this red box that's indicated on this aerial here. The purple lines demonstrate what is within the city's jurisdictions, the city's limit layer, and above that is an area that's within unincorporated Adams County, that's hatched lines. So specifically what we're talking about this evening is the area indicated within the red box here. So the zoning for this property is planned unit development. That is a negotiated zoning within our city. Applications currently under review for this project include a preliminary development plan amendment, an official development plan amendment, and also a comprehensive plan amendment to be submitted to the city here shortly. Removing the applications are basically for the removal of a recycling facility and a complete redevelopment of the site into a self-storage facility. And we're looking at roughly 2.3 acres. Moving on to the development review process, just to give you an idea of where we are in that process. We have the comprehensive plan and preliminary development plan applications. Again, the comprehensive plan application is not in yet, but it will follow here shortly. And we also have an official development plan application in as well. We review these things concurrently with the preliminary development plan and the ODP, official development plan, together. They have gone through their first level of staff review, and prior to resubmitting after their first level of staff review, they need to have a neighborhood meeting, both the PDP and the ODP. And so tonight, for the purposes of reviewing these things together, we are combining the neighborhood meeting to cover these, so we can try and just review them together. After that, they'll submit for additional staff reviews as needed until we get to a place where we feel the preliminary development plan can go before Planning Commission and City Council for review. The comprehensive plan amendment will go before that as well. And the request for the comprehensive plan amendment is to just essentially clean up it's kind of a mapping error, I would say, where we just need to make the entire piece flex light industrial. There's a small portion that says it's commercial when it's been operating as flex light industrial under an approved zoning since 1995. So once we get to the point of having an approved or a PDP that we feel we can bring before Planning Commission and City Council, then that's the step that we'll go to. And we will schedule a City Council decision on that date. The date that's on there is incorrect, sorry. As far as the official development plan goes, that's an administrative review because it does not meet the threshold of needing to go before council. But the PDP, the preliminary development plan will. So moving on after that, after assuming that the project gets approved and passed by council, they will move on to their civil construction drawings and their planning documents, or I'm sorry, and their building plan set. Some of the things that we review for a PDP, preliminary development plan, I'll just refer to as a PDP from here on out, is we take a look at right-of-way configurations, proposed land uses, parking considerations, building height and setback, adjacent property lines, property access, things like that. It's kind of a bigger scale that we take a look at. And then once we get into the ODP for review items, we look at traffic considerations, some parking considerations, drainage, detention, building design, landscape design, and buffering between land uses. So we get a little bit more site specific. We see where the building sits exactly on the site plan. We take a look at the elevations and run it against the design standards. Okay, so that's enough of hearing from me. I'm going to go ahead and pass this on to the developer since they can go ahead and start their portion of the meeting. Go ahead, Troy. I think I'm going to kick it off to you, and I'm just going to take myself off camera and leave it up to you. Cue me when you would like me to go ahead and flip through your presentation, and I'll allow you to go ahead and introduce your team, please.
Thank you, Stephanie. Yes, thanks all for coming today. My name is Troy Bales. I'm with Rick Engineering Company. And a couple of our team members are here today representing the ownership group. We have Brian Horan and Dalton Horan. Our architect, Curtis Coldway with Hauser Architects. And our landscape architect, Kim Nelson with Rick Engineering Company. Go ahead, next slide, please. About our program today, we'll go over the location, a little bit about the background and history, our proposed site plan, and proposed architecture. Next slide, please. As Ms. Ashman had stated in her slide, this is a little bit redundant, but our site is approximately 2.3 acres located off Lowell Boulevard between West 68th Avenue and West 69th Place. Next slide, please. The property is zoned, was zoned back in 1995 with a preliminary and official development plan, or PDP ODP. The only permitted use on the current property is a recycling plant of non-ferrous materials and the associated moving, processing, and shipping of those materials. Due to this single use is hence the reason why we want to, why we have to go through this process and amend this site or the ODP and PDP for our new land use. Next slide, please. This depicts our proposed site plan. We have approximately 92,000 square feet of self-storage. The building size is approximately half of that. Half of the 92,000 square feet will be above ground, and the other remaining half will be below ground. We have landscape buffers surrounding the whole site, with the east and west side having a lot larger buffers, up over 25 feet in width. So we're able to accommodate additional landscaping and buffers adjacent to the west and to the main road there being Lowell Boulevard. We are proposing a screen wall on the west side of the property line, or on the property line, to address some stormwater on this project. We are implementing pervious pavers and rain gardens with detention. This is to assist with runoff reduction. And we also have a driveway that surrounds the building that provides easy access for the tenants, as well as emergency vehicles such as fire and such. Next slide, please. This is a rendering of the project with the surrounding properties. We acknowledge that there's some pretty good existing trees on site, and so we are doing our best to mitigate those and maintain those trees that are in good health. Next slide, please. This defines some architecture. These are elevations of each side of the building. The top being the east elevation, which is generally what you would see from Lowell Boulevard. The second elevation, the north elevation, is the side of the building. The south elevation, or the third elevation there, is really the entryway into the building, or where our main entrance door is. And then we have the west side of the building, which would abut which is really the back of the building and face the west. Next slide, please. We provided some renderings of the proposed building. The exterior textures that we're proposing include a mix of stucco and stone veneer. We have a stone veneer base around all four sides of the building. The colors are warm gray with earth tone accents. And the average height of the building is approximately 29 feet. The renderings here depict, the first one on the upper right depicts the entryway into the building, and this is what you would see from Lowell Boulevard. Also, an image that you would see from Lowell Boulevard is the north view, or the north corner of the building. The picture on the bottom left is facing southwest on this picture. Next slide, please. A couple more renderings that we have. The upper right is another rendering of the face of the building, or what you would see from Lowell Boulevard. It's really the center of the building. And then we have the picture on the bottom left depicts the back side of the building, or what's facing the west side. And that concludes our presentation. We're open to any questions or comments that you may have. Thank you.
Okay, I think I'll ask Jen Baden or John McConnell, who are here with me this evening. John McConnell is principal planner with the City of Westminster, and Jen Baden, who's helping you run the evening tonight, is an associate planner with the City of Westminster, and they'll be handling the portion of the question and answer period, taking in your questions and then filtering them to the development team here. So just a couple reminders here. If you have any questions, please put them in the question box on the right side of your screen. I believe it should be on the right side of your screen. Go ahead and remember to please stay on topic and be mindful that your questions and comments will be read aloud to the entire audience. And if time allows, after chat questions and comments are addressed, we will open up the meeting for live speakers. And if you'd like to state your comment orally, please type "I would like to speak," and a staff member will let you know if and when you can.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. This is John, and I don't see that we have any questions in the question box. I would ask that Jennifer confirm what I see here.
John and Stephanie, that is correct. There is no questions in the question box.
All right. Are there any attendees who would like to speak? Okay, I'm hearing none. Stephanie, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, this is where I tap dance. No. So this is where I paint a picture on this blank wall back here and flip it upside down, and it's something amazing. Okay, so, as far as the presentation goes tonight, this is what has been under review, as stated. And as far as the next round goes, we'll get into next steps. So the applicant, after the meeting this evening, will go ahead and resubmit their application back into the city for their second review. And we'll go through a couple rounds to make sure that it meets all of the criteria that we have to be able to administratively approve an ODP and then bring before Planning Commission and City Council as a recommendation for approval as part of the next steps in the process. We will still be able to take in any type of questions, comments, or concerns that the community might have regarding this project through email and phone call. So contact information for me, project planner Stephanie Ashman here, is through my email as sashmann@cityofwestminster.us. And you can also call me at 303-658-2104. And if you have any other questions on the project or have any additional information that you would like to see, you can visit our project status webpage. And that's at www.cityofwestminster.us, government departments, community development, planning, and project status. And we also have a bunch of other projects in the city that we have listed on there. So if you get kind of curious and want to see what else we're doing, that's a really great place to look. And all the project planners are associated with those as well, for you to ask questions on those too. So as far as that goes, that concludes our meeting for this evening, unless anyone else has popped on in that small amount of time that I've been talking that would like to ask a question or type a question into the chat box. Jen, John, do we have anyone?
Not at this time, Stephanie.
Okay. What do you think, John? Should we give it a couple more minutes or shall we conclude? Do we have anyone that's logged in or that's watching the meeting this evening?
Nobody has joined as an attendee into the meeting. There may be people in listen-only mode on YouTube, but nobody has joined or requested to speak.
Okay. I'll give it just maybe another minute just to make sure. I don't want to leave someone out that might be trying to get in. So we'll just give it another minute and see if someone pops in. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and call it this evening. Thank you, development team, for taking the time to have a meeting for the community. It's very important. And so, if I have any questions that come up as far as from the community on my end, I'll be sure to send them your way. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thank you so much. And everyone have a safe night. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.